What if I told you that you could be financially free in just 10 years? And what if it all boiled down to one small decision you make today? We're talking about real, smart financial strategy here, no get-rich-quick nonsense. If you're somewhere between 18 and 35 and you're ready to build sustainable wealth, then you are in exactly the right place. So this is the big question, isn't it? Could you really be financially free in a decade? And the answer is, it's not a fantasy. For a lot of us, it's a very real possibility. But, and this is the important part, it all starts with a plan, a blueprint. And it starts with a choice you can make right now, in this moment. Look, I totally get it. The whole world of finance can feel, well, overwhelming. I've been there. My salary used to hit my account and poof, it was just gone by the end of the month. Savings was just a word I heard other people use. And I realized I had a choice. I could just let my life happen to me, or I could build a blueprint. That is the exact choice in front of you today, and we're going to break down that blueprint piece by piece. Okay, first, let's get real for a second. I want you to imagine it's 10 years from today. You're in the same job, maybe with a tiny raise, but inflation has gone through the roof and you've got way more responsibilities. The future just feels uncertain. That constant low-level stress, that's the real cost of doing nothing. But let's flip that. Now, imagine you have multiple streams of income. Your investments are humming along, growing in the background. Passive income is actually paying your bills. You have the time and the money for vacations, for your hobbies, for your family. You are literally living life on your own terms. That's not just a nice dream. That's the result of a plan you put in motion today. And here it is, laid out plain and simple. The trap versus the dream. The most important thing to get is that you don't magically end up in one or the other 10 years from now. You choose your path with every small action you take, or don't take, starting today. So how do we actually get from the trap to the dream? Well, the blueprint is built on 3 super solid pillars. First, you gotta master your money. Second, you learn how to strategically grow it. And third, you develop the discipline to keep it all going. Let's dive into that first one. You know, when I got my first job, my entire paycheck went to, well, having fun. Eating out, shopping, you name it. It was great until a medical emergency popped up out of nowhere and I had to borrow money. That day was a huge, painful wake-up call. I realized I had zero control, no protection. And that experience led me to this huge realization. A budget isn't about telling yourself no. It's not a restriction. It's about building your financial armor. It's the shield that protects you when life throws a curveball, and it's what gives you the confidence to actually take smart risks later on. So building this armor comes down to 4 key moves. First, you have to track every single rupee. You just can't control what you don't measure. Second, you build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Think of this as your financial shock absorber. Third, you get aggressive with any high-interest debt, because that stuff is like a hole in your armor. And finally, you create a budget to give every rupee you earn a specific job to do. Okay, let me ask you a quick question. Just take a second and think about it. All those little monthly subscriptions you pay for, streaming services, apps, gym memberships you don't use, how many are you actually really using? 40%. That's not a random number. That's how many of my own subscriptions I canceled the very first time I seriously tracked my spending. That's the power of this first pillar. It instantly shows you where your money is just leaking away. All right, once you've built your financial armor, it's time for pillar 2, actually growing your wealth. This is the exciting part, where you make your money start working for you. But for so many people, the word investing brings up one big, scary emotion: fear. That fear of, what if I lose all my money? It's completely valid, especially if you just jump in without knowing what you're doing. But letting that fear paralyze you into doing nothing, that is the single biggest financial mistake you can make. Because right on the other side of that fear is the most powerful force in all of finance: compounding. It's basically where your money starts making its own money. A small amount invested today can seriously grow into a fortune over 10 or 20 years. Compounding is going to be your absolute best friend on this journey. So here's the framework. It's simple. First, start as early as you can. Your biggest asset isn't how much money you have, it's how much time you have. Second, diversify. Spread your investments across things like stocks, mutual funds, maybe even some digital assets. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Third, automate it. Set up systematic investment plans, or SIPs. They just automatically invest for you, which takes all the emotion out of it. And finally, stay consistent. Wealth isn't built in a day, it's built with patience. Now, I know what some of you are probably thinking. Yeah, but what if I invest and then the whole market crashes? It's a huge fear, and it keeps so many people sitting on the sidelines, just waiting for the so-called perfect time to get in. But here's the mindset shift you have to make. A market crash is not a threat, it's an opportunity. It's a sale. It's your chance to buy great assets at a huge discount while everyone else is panicking and selling out of fear. The wealthy understand this, and it's one of the key ways they accelerate their wealth. Okay, so building wealth is one thing, but keeping it, that requires something more. And that brings us to our third and final pillar, the freedom mindset. Because you see, financial planning isn't just about spreadsheets and numbers. It's about the discipline and the habits that actually sustain your success long term. And this comes down to 4 key actions. Practice mindful spending, where you make sure every expense truly aligns with your values. Build healthy habits, because honestly, wealth without health is worthless. Surround yourself with people who are also focused on growth, because your network really does shape your mindset. And finally, never, ever stop investing in yourself. Your knowledge is the one asset no one can ever take from you. Here's the bottom line on this pillar. Every single time you consciously decide not to make some impulse purchase, you are literally buying back a piece of your future freedom. When you control your spending, you control your stress levels, you protect your family, and you empower yourself. It is so much bigger than just money. So, there you have it. We've gone through the whole blueprint. We've talked about that fear of being stuck and the absolute excitement of being free. And it all comes back to a single choice that you have to make right now. Ultimately, it just comes down to this. Doing nothing today, well, that becomes regret tomorrow. But taking action, even one tiny step today, like tracking just one expense or setting up one small SIP, that becomes the inspiration that's going to fuel your future self. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Forget 10 years. Let's just talk 5. 5 years from now, when you look back at this exact moment, will you see a moment of regret, or will you see the moment it all started? A moment of inspiration? The choice is 100% yours. Okay, we've laid out the blueprint for managing and growing your money. But the real secret to putting this whole journey on hyperspeed is creating new income sources from scratch. Passive income, side hustles. How do you actually start? That's exactly what we're going to break down in the next explainer. Don't put your dreams off. Start today. You will thank yourself tomorrow.